Hey guys, welcome back to Cyber Platter. This is the second video in the series of SIM interview questions and answers. In the part one, we discussed 8 questions. The link is in the description box if you want to go check it out. Now we'll start from the ninth question. How do SIMs generate alerts? SIMs generate alerts by monitoring and analyzing data from various sources within an organization's IT infrastructure. These sources may include network devices, servers, applications, endpoints, and so on. SIMs help identify potential security threats, breaches, or unusual activities by correlating events and comparing them against predefined rules and patterns. So let's see it step by step. First step is data collection. So SIMs collects log data and security related events from various sources in real time or near real time. This data can include firewall logs, intrusion detection system alerts, authentication logs, system logs, and so on. Next step is normalization. The collected data is then normalized, which involves converting data from different sources into a common format. This step helps in consistent processing and analysis. Next one is aggregation and correlation. SIMs aggregate and correlate events from multiple sources. This involves identifying relationships between seemingly unrelated events to detect complex attack patterns or suspicious behaviors. So this step is to identify relationships. Correlation rules are predefined and customizable, and they can include conditions like a series of events happening within a certain time frame or a combination of events that indicate a potential threat. Next one is anomaly detection. Some SIMs incorporate machine learning and behavioral analysis. This is to identify anomalies that deviate from the baseline. Anomalies might indicate unauthorized access, data exfiltration, or other abnormal activities. Next one is rule-based detection. SIMs use rule-based detection mechanisms to match events against predefined rules that reflect known attack patterns or policy violations. When an event matches a rule, an alert is generated. Next is thresholds and triggers. SIMs can also use threshold-based triggers. These triggers generate alerts when a specific event or condition crosses a predefined threshold. For example, if a certain number of failed login attempts occur within a short period, an alert may be generated. Next one is enrichment. SIMs can enrich alert by adding contextual information. This might include additional data from external threat intelligence feeds or contextual information about the affected system or user. Then the next step is alert generation. When an event is identified as suspicious or potentially harmful, based on these processes that we discussed, right, an alert is generated. Alerts can vary in severity based on the risk level associated with the event. Now let's move on to the next question. What information should an alert ideally include? In the previous question, we saw how an alert is generated. Now, when the alert is generated, what information should it include? So, the first information that an alert should include is the event description. A clear and concise description of the event or activity that triggered the alert. Next is timestamp. This is the time and date when the event occurred. Next is source and destination. This is the information about the source and destination of the event, such as IP addresses, host names, or usernames. Next is the severity level. This is an indicator of the severity or criticality of the alert, that it is like example low, medium, high, critical. Next is correlation context. This is, if applicable, the information about correlated events that led to the alert being triggered. Then is the affected system or user. This is the details about the system, application, or user account involved in the event. Next is event category. This is the category of the event like login attempt, data access, malware detection, etc. Next one is the relevance. This should answer the question why the event is considered relevant or potentially malicious. Next one is recommendations. This is guidance on what action should be taken in response to the alert. This might include steps for mitigation or further investigation. Then additional context. This is enrichment data such as threat intelligence information that provides more context about the event. So, in summary, the effective alert should provide security teams with enough information to understand the nature of the potential threat, assess its severity, and initiate appropriate response measures. Now, let's go to the next question. Explain the concept of IOC and how SIMs use them. IOC stands for Indicators of Compromise. These are pieces of evidence or artifacts that indicate a potential security breach or compromise within an organization's IT environment. These indicators are typically derived from observed malicious activities, and they help security teams detect and respond to security incidents. IOCs are valuable because they provide tangible evidence of malicious actions, allowing security professionals to identify, investigate, and mitigate threats. IOCs can include various types of information such as IP addresses, domain names, file hashes, URLs, registry keys, and so on. SIM systems play a crucial role in leveraging IOCs to enhance threat detection and incident response. Now let's see how SIM uses IOCs. First one is IOC collection. SIMs can collect IOCs from various sources, including threat intelligence feeds, security research reports, vendor specific threat databases, open source intelligence, and historical incident data. These IOCs are continuously updated to ensure accurate and up to date threat detection. Next one is IOC storage. SIMs store IOCs in a structured format within their database. This allows for efficient querying, correlation, and analysis against the incoming security event data. Next one is correlation and alerting. SIMs use the collected IOCs to correlate against incoming security events and log data in real time. When an observed event matches an IOC, the SIM generates an alert. For example, if an IOC represents a known malicious IP address, the SIM can trigger an alert whenever network traffic is detected to or from that IP address. Next is threat hunting. SIMs also support proactive threat hunting, where security analysts actively search for potential IOCs within the environment. They can use SIM query and search capabilities to identify traces of IOC related activities that may have gone unnoticed by automated alerts. Next is contextual enrichment. SIMs can enrich IOC related alerts by providing contextual information. This includes details about the affected system, user, time of occurrence, associated events, and so on. This context helps analysts assess the severity and potential impact of the IOC. Next one is IOC correlation. SIMs can correlate multiple IOCs to identify complex attack patterns. By detecting a series of related IOCs or IOC clusters, the SIM can infer a more sophisticated attack scenario. Next is response orchestration. When an IOC is identified, the SIM can trigger automated response actions or workflows. These actions might include isolating affected systems, blocking specific network traffic, or quarantining malicious files. Then there is custom IOC creation. Organizations can define their own custom IOCs based on their specific threat landscape and security requirements. These IOCs can be added to the SIMS database and used for detection and alerting. So, in summary, IOCs serve as key signatures for identifying threats, enabling SIMs to effectively detect and respond to security incidents. However, it's important to note that while IOCs are valuable tools, they are not the sole solution for comprehensive threat detection. Advanced attackers often evolve their tactics to avoid common IOCs, which is why a multi-layered security approach that combines IOCs with behavioral analysis, anomaly detection, and other techniques is essential for effective cybersecurity. Let's go to the next question. Describe how historical data stored in a SIM can aid in forensic investigations. Historical data stored in a SIM system is a valuable resource for conducting forensic investigations. Forensic investigations involve analyzing and reconstructing events after a security incident or breach has occurred. Let's see how it is helpful. First is timeline reconstruction. SIMs retain historical logs and event data over extended periods. This data allows investigators to reconstruct a chronological timeline of events leading up to and following an incident. This timeline is crucial for understanding the sequence of actions, identifying the initial entry point, and tracing the attacker's movement within the network. Then is root cause analysis. By analyzing historical data, investigators can determine the root cause of an alert. They can track the initial compromise, identify vulnerabilities that were exploited, and understand the techniques used by the attackers. Next is attack chain analysis. SIM historical data provides insight into the various stages of an attack, from reconnaissance to lateral movement and data exfiltration. Investigators can follow the attack chain, identify attack vectors, and assess the extent of the breach. It also helps with pattern recognition. Historical data enables the identification of recurring patterns and anomalies. By comparing current incident data with historical trends, investigators can identify if the organizations have been targeted in similar ways in the past. Next one is attribution. For incidents involving insider threats or unauthorized access, historical data can help in attributing actions to specific users or entities. Investigators can analyze user activities over time to determine if there were any suspicious behaviors leading up to the incident. Next is scope assessment. Historical data aids in understanding the scope of an incident. Investigators can identify all systems and accounts that may have been compromised, allowing for comprehensive cleanup and remediation efforts. Next is evidence preservation. SIM securely store historical data, preserving evidence for legal and regulatory purposes. This evidence can be crucial in case of legal actions, compliance audits, or law enforcement involvement. Next one is behavioral analysis. Historical data allows for behavioral analysis of users and systems. Investigators can identify deviations from normal behavior, helping to identify compromised accounts or insider threats. Next one is regulatory compliance. Many industries have regulatory requirements for retaining security logs and event data. Historical data in SIMs can assist in demonstrating compliance with these regulations. Next is lessons learned. After an incident, analyzing historical data can provide valuable insights into what went wrong, how the incident was detected or not detected, and what steps can be taken to prevent similar incidents in the future. So, in summary, historical data stored in a SIM serves as a treasure of information for forensic investigators. It allows them to reconstruct events, understand attack tactics, identify vulnerabilities, and make informed decisions about incident response and mitigation strategies. Effective use of historical data can significantly enhance the accuracy and depth of forensic investigators. Let's move on to the next question. What types of reports might be generated in a SIM? SIM systems generate various types of reports to provide insights, summaries, and detailed information about the security events, incidents, and activities within an organization's IT environment. These reports are essential for monitoring, analysis, compliance, incident response, and decision making. Let's see some types of reports that might be generated by a SIM. Event summary report. This provides a high-level overview of the security events recorded within a specific time period. This report typically includes event count, severity levels, and top event sources. Next is incident report. This details information about specific security incidents, including the timeline of events, affected systems, actions taken by attackers, and response actions taken by security teams. Next is alert reports. This summarizes alerts generated by the SIEM, including the type of alert, affected systems, users, the actions taken by the SIEM or security personnel. Next is user activity report. This presents information about user activities such as logins, access attempts, file accesses, application usage, and so on. This report helps identify any unusual or suspicious behavior. Next is access control report. This provides insight into access control activities, including changes to permissions, privilege escalations, and attempts to access restricted resources. Next is network traffic report. This analyzes network traffic patterns, identifies unusual or unauthorized communication, and provides insight into potential network-based attacks. Next is malware detection report. This summarizes information about detected malware, including details about the infected systems, the type of malware, and the actions taken to mitigate the threats. Next one is anomaly detection report. This highlights deviations from normal behavior, identifying anomalies that might indicate unauthorized access, data exfiltration, or other abnormal activities. Next is it can generate compliance reports. This demonstrates adherence to regulatory and security compliance standards. This might include tracking events related to user access, data protection, and configuration changes. Next is threat intelligence report. This incorporates information from external threat intelligence sources to identify potential threats based on IOCs and known malicious entities. Next is risk assessment report. This evaluates the organization security posture by analyzing events, vulnerabilities, and threat trends. This report helps prioritize security measures. Then we have dashboard reports. This presents a visual overview of key security metrics such as the volume of events, top attack sources, most targeted systems, and recent incidents. Then we have forensic investigation report. This summarizes the findings of a detailed forensic investigation, including the timeline of events, evidence gathered, root cause analysis, and lessons learned. Next is configuration change report. This tracks changes made to system configurations, helping to identify unauthorized or unintended modifications. Next is user behavior analytics report. This analyzes user behavior over time to detect anomalies such as sudden increase in privilege usage or access from unusual locations. Next, we have system performance report. This monitors the performance of critical systems, applications, and network devices, highlighting any performance related issues that could impact security. Next, we have log source report. This provides information about the sources of log data contributing to the SIEM, ensuring that all necessary systems and devices are integrated for comprehensive monitoring. So these reports serve various purposes, from real-time monitoring and incident response to compliance reporting and strategic decision making. Organizations tailor their reporting strategies based on their specific security goals, regulatory requirements, and operational needs. Let's move to the next question. What are some common challenges faced during SIEM implementation? How can they be overcome? Implementing a SIEM system can be complex and challenging due to the diverse nature of IT environments, the volume of data, and the need for effective investigation. Let's see some common challenges faced during SIEM implementation and strategies to overcome them. First topic is data collection and integration. Here the challenge is integrating data from diverse sources such as different operating systems, applications, and network devices. So integrating data from diverse sources such as different operating systems, applications, and network devices can be challenging due to variations in log formats and protocols. The solution here is to utilize agents, connectors, and APIs provided by the SIEM vendor to facilitate data collection. standardize log formats, and ensure clear documentation for data source integration. Pre-built integrations can simplify this process. Next is data volume and scalability. SIMs can handle large volumes of data, but as an organization grows, the data volume can quickly overwhelm the system's capacity. So for this, we need to implement a scalable architecture that can handle data growth, utilize distributed data processing and storage mechanisms, regularly optimize and tune the SIM for performance. Next one is rule and alert fatigue. Generating too many alerts, including false positives, can overwhelm security teams and lead to alert fatigue. The solution here is to refine correlation rules to reduce false positives, implement dynamic thresholds and adaptive behavior analysis to trigger alerts only for meaningful events. Regularly review and update rules based on evolving threats. Next one is tuning and customization. SIMs come with default rules and configurations that may not align with an organization specific threat landscape. The solution is to tailor the SIM to your environment by defining custom rules and alerts. Conduct regular rule tuning and analysis to ensure relevance and accuracy. Next one is skill gap and training. Operating a SIM effectively requires skilled analysts who understand both security concepts and SIM tool itself. So provide comprehensive training for analysts on SIM usage, log analysis, incident investigation, and response procedures. Consider hiring or training staff with relevant expertise. Next is data quality and normalization. Inaccurate or inconsistent log data can hinder effective analysis and correlation. So implement data normalization processes to ensure logs are converted to a common format, regularly validate data quality, and enforce logging best practices across systems. Next one is resource constraints. SIM implementation requires hardware, software, and human resources, which can strain an organization's budget and staff. So the solution is to plan resource allocation and budgeting in advance. Consider cloud-based SIM solutions to reduce hardware and maintenance costs. Prioritize and allocate skilled personnel for managing these SIM. Next is compliance and reporting. Meeting compliance requirements for data retention and reporting can be complex and time-consuming. So leverage the reporting capabilities of the SIM to generate compliance reports. Regularly review and align SIM configurations with relevant compliance standards. Next is false negatives. Overly restrictive or improperly configured rules can result in false negatives where actual threats are not detected. So regularly assess and adjust the sensitivity of detection rules. Use threat intelligence feeds and machine learning to identify new and emerging threats. Next is change management. Implementing a SIM involves changes to processes, configurations, and workflows, which can face resistance from stakeholders. So engage with key stakeholders early and communicate the benefits of the SIM. Develop a clear change management plan to address concerns and ensure smooth adoption. In summary, successful SIM implementation requires careful planning and continuous monitoring and adaptation. It's important to involve key stakeholders, align the implementation with organizational goals, and remain flexible in response to evolving threats and challenges. Regular assessments and optimization of the SIM environment are crucial for maintaining effectiveness over time. Let's move on to the next question. How can a SIM integrate with other security tools and systems? Integrating a SIM system with other security tools and systems is crucial for creating a comprehensive and effective cybersecurity ecosystem. Integration allows for the sharing of data, context, and insights, enabling faster threat detection, more accurate analysis, and streamlined incident response. Let's see some of the common ways to integrate a SIM with other security tools and systems. First one is log collection and aggregation. Most SIMs offer agents, connectors, or APIs to collect logs from various sources, including firewalls, antivirus solutions, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems, and more. These logs are aggregated in the SIM for centralized monitoring and analysis. Next is threat intelligence sources or feeds. SIMs can ingest threat intelligence feeds from external sources. These feeds provide information about known malicious indicators such as IP addresses, domains, and hashes. Integrating threat intelligence enhances the SIM's ability to detect threats based on known patterns. Next is vulnerability management tools. SIMs can integrate with vulnerability assessment and management tools to correlate vulnerabilities with potential threats and active attacks. This helps prioritize remediation efforts based on real world risk. Next one is EDR systems. Integrating with EDR systems, that is endpoint detection and response systems, provides visibility into endpoint activities, including process execution, file changes, and user behavior. This enhances threat detection and allows for faster incident response on endpoints. Next is NTA solutions, that is network traffic analysis solutions. NTA tools monitor network traffic for suspicious behaviors. Integrating with a SIM allows for the correlation of network anomalies with broader security context, helping to detect advanced threats. Next is IAM systems, that is identity and access management systems. Integrating with IAM systems provides insights into user authentication, access requests, and role changes. This enhances user behavior analysis and helps detect unauthorized access. Next is intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems, that is IDS and IPS. SIM integration with IDS or IPS solutions enables the correlation of network intrusion alerts with other security events, providing a comprehensive view of potential threats. Next is SOAR solutions. SOAR stands for Security Orchestration, Automation, and Response. SOAR platforms can integrate with SIMs to automate incident response workflows. When a SIM generates an alert, the SOAR platform can trigger predefined actions such as isolating a compromised system. Next is firewalls and WAFs. WAFs stands for Web Application Firewall. Integrating with firewalls and WAFs allows for real-time monitoring of network traffic and identification of malicious patterns. This integration enhances perimeter defense and threat mitigation. Next is SIMs can integrate with cloud security platforms to monitor and analyze logs and events in cloud environments, ensuring consistent security across on-premises and cloud infrastructure. Next is security analytics platform. Integrating with advanced security analytics platforms enhances threat detection capabilities by leveraging machine learning and behavioral analysis to identify patterns and anomalies. Next is incident response platforms, that is IR platforms. Integrating with incident response platforms streamlines the incident management process by linking SIM generated alerts with response actions, investigation workflows, and documentation. So, to achieve this successful integration, we need to consider selecting tools with integration capabilities, such as choose security tools that offers APIs, connectors, or standards such as common event format for data sharing. We also need to determine what data should be shared between systems, which events trigger alerts, and how incidents are escalated. We need to set up the integration according to the tool's documentation and thoroughly test the data flow and event correlation. We need to continuously monitor the integrations for errors, changes in data sources, reviews, and updates to ensure smooth operation. Always establish a feedback loop between integrated systems to improve and refine the integration process over time. All in all, effective integration enhances your organization's ability to detect, respond to, and mitigate security threats by leveraging the collective insights and capabilities of various security tools and systems. Explain the functions of event normalization and parsing in a SIM. We briefly touched these topics, but we'll discuss in depth here. Event normalization and parsing are crucial functions in a SIM system that help transform raw and heterogeneous event data into a standardized format that can be easily analyzed, correlated, and understood. These processes play a significant role in enhancing the accuracy and efficiency of threat detection, incident response, and overall security monitoring. Let's explore the functions of event normalization and parsing in more detail. First, let's talk about event parsing. Event parsing involves breaking down raw event data, often in the form of log files, into structured fields that represent specific pieces of information within the event. Raw logs from various sources such as firewalls, operating systems, applications come in different formats and layouts. Parsing extracts relevant information such as timestamps, source and destination IP addresses, usernames, and event types from these logs. Let's see the functions of event parsing. First one is data extraction. Parsing extracts key data elements from raw logs, making it possible to identify and categorize the attributes of each event. Next is field identification. Parsing identifies the role of each field within an event and assigns a meaning to it. Fields can be like timestamp, source IP address, event types, destination IP address, domain names, etc. Next is standardization. By parsing logs into structured fields, normalization can be applied more effectively, enabling consistent analysis across different types of events. Next one is contextualization. Parse data provides context and details that facilitate better understanding of events during analysis and correlation. Next function is data enrichment. Parse data can be enriched with additional information from external sources such as threat intelligence feeds to enhance its value and context. Now let's talk about event normalization. Event normalization involves standardizing and categorizing event data from various sources into a common format. Since different systems generate logs in different ways, normalization ensures that similar events from diverse sources can be compared and correlated accurately. Normalized events typically include a predefined structure that includes standardized field names, values, and units. Let's see the functions of normalization. First one is consistency. Normalization standardizes event data, ensuring that the same type of event from different sources has consistent attributes and fields. Next is correlation. Normalized events can be more easily correlated across diverse data sources, helping to identify complex attack patterns that span multiple systems. Cross-source analysis. Normalized data enables accurate comparison and analysis of events from different systems, leading to more accurate threat detection. Next is rule application. SIM correlation rules and analytics engines rely on normalized data to accurately detect predefined patterns of behavior and indicators of compromise. Next is reporting and visualization. Normalized data is more suitable for generating consistent and meaningful reports, graphs, and dashboards. So, in summary, event parsing and normalization are fundamental processes that transform raw, diverse, and often complex event data into a structured and standardized format. This adds to effective security analysis, threat detection, and incident response within a SIM environment. These functions enable security teams to make informed decisions based on consistent and contextualized data, ultimately enhancing an organization's ability to protect against cyber threats. So that's it for today, guys. I hope this video helped you understand a SIM solution better. I will see you in another video with another topic soon. Until then, bye bye.